In this video, we're gonna talk about why small lights are as important as the big ones and how you can use them to create better images. When it comes to filmmaking, there are three most important things you need to master: camera, audio, and the lighting. And even if you have a big, expensive Netflix certified cinema camera, you won't be able to produce a professional looking video without a proper lighting setup. And even though I have some big, powerful lights, I always bring my smaller ones with me since they're more flexible and useful in certain situations than something like this. And one of those smaller lights is this FIVERAY M20C, which was kindly provided to me by zhiyun. But before we film some examples, let's talk about this light real quick. I got the M20C combo, which includes the light itself with some additional accessories like this mounting cage, honeycomb grid, barn doors, and a diffuser. The build quality of this light is amazing. All parts are made of great materials and it feels very high quality. The light is equipped with a small display, two control knobs, a very quiet cooling fan and a battery which can run this light for around 40 minutes on full power. But if you need to run this light for a longer time, you can power it via the USB-C port. And since it's a full color RGB light, it also has 16 different effects like fire, TV and lightning, for example. But you can also use their app and change the color temperature and the brightness, for example. Now let's take this light and create the first example, which is the interview backlight. If you're filming an interview, two light sources are usually enough to create a nice looking image. One is the key light, it's the brightest light source for your subject. I like to use a big softbox or diffusion fabric to make the light nice and soft, which creates soft shadows and makes the person look very good on camera. The second light is the backlight. The backlight makes the outline of the person visible, which creates more depth in your image. I personally like to use hard light sources in order to be able to see the edge more clearly and separate my subject from the background. Comparing the images side by side, you can clearly see how this light makes the big difference. The image looks way better and dimensional. But it's not only useful in combination with other lights, you can also create cool stuff with only using one light. I always need some B-roll for my tech videos and I film it only using one light. You can move the light around and create some cinematic shots of certain details of a product without spending your time building heavy grip equipment. It's just compact, fast and gives me great results. Let's move on to the next example, the practical lighting. In this setup alone, I use 6 different practical lights. I use one light under my tree to create some interesting patterns in my background, 2 LED bars to lift the dark background on my window, a cheap IKEA lamp to give me a warm backlight and create some color contrast between the color temperatures, and I also use my screen bar halo to create this table light, and I also use a small candle to also create some color contrast between the cold and the warm color temperatures. Now let's turn them all off and see the difference. As you can see, I am now working only with my Aperture 120D and my softbox as my key light. The picture becomes very empty and boring. And that's the reason why big companies work with professional experienced production teams. It makes a big difference when you create an image for a client that looks better than the reality. Simply because they wanna show their products and the company in the best way possible. And that's the reason why I think it's very important to have different types of lights. It gives you certain flexibility and a better workflow on set. By the way, before I made this review, I've tested the light in a real commercial set environment and found 2 things that could be improved. Starting with the first, it's very easy to change the language by accident, which is not that easy to fix since everything is displayed in Chinese. Maybe it's better if you have to confirm the selection with several clicks, but I don't think it's a big deal since they could easily fix it with a new firmware update. Moving on to the next problem, the mounting points. As we used this light on set, we tried to mount the light without the bracket around and realized there is not a single thread to mount it, which makes no sense to me, especially if you can buy it without the combo. So you can only use it with your hand or put it somewhere like this. To be honest, this is the only point which is not that great, otherwise this light is simply amazing. The output power, the light quality and all the effects, everything is just great. If you want to upgrade your setup with this light, I'll put my affiliate link down below. I hope you liked this one. If so, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my content, subscribe to my channel. I would love to see you in my next one.